Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys. I hope that all of you are doing good. In this video today I'm going to review one of the newer members of the Lattafa Pride line that's called La Collection d'Antiques 1886. Now this is a very interesting fragrance that, at least to my knowledge, is not a direct clone of any fragrance out there, but it's somewhat similar to Dior Homme Intense, has an interesting twist on that DNA. So in today's video I'm going to show you this fragrance. The presentation and the bottle design of La Collection d'Antiques 1886, like with all other members of the Lattafa Pride line, is very luxurious, and some people might even call it a little bit over the top. The fragrance comes packaged in this black colored box with sort of a dark golden accents on it. On the front you got this vintage looking car, the name of the fragrance, the name of the company, the bottle size 100 milliliters, the concentration, EDP. On the back there's a sticker of authenticity along with some additional information. But this is just the outside box of the fragrance. Once you do that, you open it up, you actually get to the box of the bottle, the actual box of the bottle. It comes in this dark golden colored box. Again, on the front you got the same information. You open it up like this and the fragrance sits inside. Like with all other members of the Lattafa Pride line, you also get this little pamphlet that contains information about all other members of the Lattafa Pride line. And then when you take out the bottle, it looks like this, has a super interesting shape to it, has white color, something that's not very common in the fragrance world. The cap is plastic and it's in this, again, dark sort of a golden color. And the interesting thing is that you get the same, car on the front, but as you can see, this is not an actual painting. It's like a 3D sort of a model of the car. All in all, the packaging is super interesting, and especially the bottle design is really interesting. Now, as per Lattafa themselves, the note breakdown of this fragrance has the following notes. The top notes are bergamot and mate. The middle notes are cinnamon, jasmine, iris, tonka bean, and the base notes are vanilla, white musk, white chocolate, white tobacco, and patchouli. I'll show you the sprayer in action and then I'll talk about the actual scent of this fragrance. This is the sprayer in action. It's a pretty decent sprayer. And now about the actual scent profile of this fragrance. Now, immediately after spraying, La Collection d'Antiques 1886, a mouthful of a name. Immediately after spraying, this fragrance feels pretty fresh. The bergamot note is quite strong in the first few seconds in the opening of this fragrance, but that lasts for about 30 seconds or so, and then that freshness starts to go a little bit away. Immediately after spraying, also what I pick up is that chocolatey note, white chocolatey note that's featured in the note breakdown of this fragrance. It's definitely there, and the more this goes into through its phases, the stronger that chocolatey note gets in the opening. And also immediately after spraying, I pick up quite a lot of the iris note as well. There's a touch of that sort of a floral vibe that you get out of the jasmine as well. But the opening is dominated in the first few seconds by the bergamot, and then by the combination of the white chocolate and the iris with a touch of jasmine somewhere in the background. I also pick up some sweetness from the vanilla in the opening, but once this goes into its dry down, that freshness from the opening completely goes away. And to my nose, the dry down is all about the mix of the vanilla, which plays the most prominent role in the dry down of this fragrance. You get a little bit of a powdery sweetness from the tonka bean. There's the musk as well on the dry down. The jasmine is still there, and that white chocolatey note is also still there on the dry down. All in all, this is a very interesting take on the Dior Homme Intense DNA. It feels sweet, but not overly sweet, quite light in the air, actually quite a gentle type of a fragrance that's very well blended, because none of the notes really stick out over the others, and all in all, this is actually a very interesting and enjoyable scent. When talking about what this is close to, as I said in the beginning of the video, this thing to my nose feels a sort of an quite heavily inspired by Dior Homme Intense, but not a direct clone of that legendary fragrance. It's closest to Dior Homme Intense in the opening, in the first sort of 15 to 20 minutes after you spray this fragrance, but the more this dries down, the more it takes a different route compared to Dior Homme Intense. Performance-wise, La Collection d'Antiques 1886 from Lattafa has been a very decent performer. I've been getting somewhere around about 8.5 to 9 hours of performance on my skin, with a moderate projection in the first hour and a half up to 2 hours. So total longevity on skin has been pretty good, but this thing lacks a little bit of the projection, I think, but I think that's down to the scent profile, because it feels quite gentle and quite light, and that's why it's not a very loud fragrance. But still, performance wise, this thing is a pretty good performer. When it comes to the price tag, now I'm quoting the prices that I'm paying for my fragrances, and I got this fragrance off Notino's website here in Europe, and I paid roughly about 35 euros in order to get this fragrance, which will translate into something like $40, which is an okay price considering this fragrance is a member of the Lattafa Pride line. You know, you get that luxurious packaging, you get a very interesting looking bottle, decent performer, and an interesting scent profile. So price wise, this is a well priced fragrance in my opinion. When it comes to the versatility, it's not a super versatile fragrance, because you know, that combination of vanilla, tonka bean, iris, chocolate as well, white chocolate, it's more orientated towards cold weather in my opinion, but because this fragrance feels quite light in the air around the person who wears it, you can get away with this in warm weather as well, especially if you don't go too heavy on the sprayer. Also, you know, it's pretty safe for office usage. It's a non-offending type of scent, so we can wear this to the office. And also, in my opinion, because of the sweetness in this fragrance, because of the floral notes, I think this is a perfectly unisex fragrance, and I see absolutely no problem, you know, for a girl to wear this fragrance. So versatility wise, I would say that this is a pretty versatile fragrance. And on to my final thoughts about the La Collection d'Antiques 1886 from the Lattafa Pride line. When I ordered this fragrance, I wasn't really sure what I should expect out of this fragrance, because you know, the note breakdown didn't seem very similar, and a lot of people were comparing this to Dior Homme Intense. Once I got it and I tried it, I immediately was sort of reminded that this actually feels somewhat close to Dior Homme Intense, but has an interesting twist to it. This is a very decent performer. It comes very luxuriously packaged. You know, you got a very interesting and unique looking bottle design. I've never seen something like this, and this fragrance will stand out in anybody's collection for sure. It's very competitively priced. It is, you know, at least here in Europe. The scent profile is well blended. It's perfectly unisex in my opinion. And all in all, you know, it's a really interesting and a nice fragrance, and I really like it. So if you like Dior Homme Intense, you know, as a scent, you'll probably end up liking La Collection d'Antiques 1886 from Lattafa as well. Just keep in mind that you should not approach this fragrance as being a you know, direct clone of Dior Homme Intense. Approach it as a standalone fragrance that bears some similarities to Dior Homme Intense. Again, all in all, I really like this one. And so guys, in today's video, I showed you a very interesting and unique take on the Dior Homme Intense, you know, scent profile from the Lattafa Pride line, called La Collection d'Antiques 1886. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.